Hey friends, welcome back to the second week of February. Today I'm going to take you through how I plan my week. First, I'm going to look at my calendar and see what I have going on. I have a lunch on Monday. This get together got rescheduled to here. So it's now going to be next week. And I will probably have a game night on the 13th, but I still have to confirm that. I don't know for sure. So I'll be sure to transfer whatever events I have into my weekly schedule once that gets set up. Now on to my goals. I have been coming and looking at this page on a daily basis. Every time I work on my journal, I look here to remind myself what my goals for the month are, but I also am checking things off as they happen. Now, this is not fully updated. There are things I did not quite check off. For example, I did not check off the third video of the week for last week, but I did do good. I did do 3 videos last week. I only did one thing from my long-term to-do list. That's a list of things I have that I put down anything that I come across that needs to be done that I can't do at this moment, or things that I have a lot of resistance towards, so I've been putting off doing, or multi-part things that need a little bit more of my attention. I have a running list in the back of my notebook somewhere that I just write things down. And it's from that list that I want to get 10 things off of for this month. I did attempt to do 2 other things from the list that just didn't work out this past week, but that's okay. We have a new week and a fresh start today. Now for my weight loss goal, as I've mentioned in the past, I don't like to weigh myself too often. I think weight can vary a lot. And since I am not extremely overweight or anything like that, or I'm not trying to lose a lot of pounds, these differences in weight week to week will be subtle. So I feel like I get a more accurate weight if I don't do it too often. So this is a goal that I'll update next week when I do finally weigh myself. Now, as far as figuring out my health insurance, the next step towards this goal is me having to file my tax return. I'm still waiting for one more piece of paper so I can get that going. Now, this may not seem like a big deal, but traditionally I am the person that does her taxes on her lunch break on the 15th of April or whatever the last possible day is. But this year I'm going to make every effort to get them done as soon as possible so I can make progress towards this goal of figuring out my health insurance for the new year. Now, as far as my weekly cleanings, I wasn't sure what system I would use to measure that. Let's flip back to our weekly view. So here I have everything that I had listed for this month and everything that I was able to get done. You can see that I didn't check off the toilet and sink in the bathroom. That didn't get done, and the tub did not get done from my extra things. Now, I'm not sure exactly how I want to track this on the goal update. It might be a number. Like, for example, there are 12 tasks listed here, and 2 of them I did not do, so I could put 10 out of 12. Or maybe I'll do it percentage-wise and consider it like a grade. Like, what's the percentage of all the tasks that I actually did finish, and consider it like a letter grade. I'm not quite sure yet, but I'll think a little bit more on that. I mean, it's not that big a deal, but I just would like to have it there on that front page when I look at my goals to see where I need to focus my attention, maybe where I'm doing really well, or maybe where I need to pause and think a little bit about how it's going and if I need to employ some other strategy. Again, I don't have anything listed here, but generally I feel I did pretty good on that goal. But regardless of what the first week showed, if it was terrible, if I had done nothing, it's okay because we have this new week. And as always, it's a fresh start to get stuff done. I did go over a review of how week 1 went. That video went up last Friday. If you want to watch that, it's my previous video. And here is week 2 all set up. I'm using a similar layout, except that this week contains only 7 days for the week, whereas this had an additional day because of when the month started. Here on the left, I have spaces for every day where I'll write in the self-care task that I did, the act of kindness that I did, what I am grateful for each day. Here I have 4 things that I'm making sure I do every day, and that is water, floss, vitamins, and movement. I had these here in these little circles that I just color in. On the bottom, again, I have my space for things I want to clean this week. I do want to focus a little bit more this month on having a tidy and clean space. And this column here are all weekly tasks. And here I have a few things that I wouldn't necessarily do on a weekly basis, but I want to bring in and do these things this week to kind of keep up with things. Several years ago, I used this tracker where I had a bunch of tasks that I came up with and how often I would want to do them to be clean and organized. So I had things I would do daily, things I would do monthly, then quarterly, twice a year, and yearly. And this actually worked really well for me. It was one of the years where I have to say my space was most clean and organized, and that is something I struggle with. I do find getting myself to clean a little difficult, and that really helped me. Anyway, so that's where I'm taking these tasks from. And honestly, I would really love to go through most of the extra tasks in the month of February to have a clean space as March starts. Then here I have spaces for each day. I will be writing in my events for the day and my to-do list for that particular day. And this is where I would come to check things off. I have a little bit of an extra space down on the bottom, and I didn't divide it in any way because I'm not sure exactly what I'll use it for. But if you're doing something similar, you could really do anything with this space. Things I've done in the past is I would make a shopping list for the week as I'm coming up with things, or a shopping list and another list of meal ideas. You could post in a photo from the week just as a little scrapbooking, memory keeping thing. You could journal a little bit here, doodle. I mean, anything your heart desire. It could be something related to your goals or something you're working on this week. Maybe you need a little brainstorming space, a little notes area. I mean, you could use it for anything. And again, I'm not really sure what I'll use it for. I had a little space last week and I didn't end up using it for anything. I do prefer my shopping list on a post-it note nowadays. I do want to spend another week using this format, even though I found it a bit cluttered here in my past week. I'm going to try some things to make it more visually appealing for myself. So we'll see how that goes. Now, flipping back to my goals, what is really my main focus for the week? I do want to publish 3 videos this week. So I'll be doing one today, one on Wednesday, which is going to be the second video of my series. And this one is going to focus on self-care. And then I'll have my last video of the week on Friday, just updating you guys how the week has been going. I would love to get at least 3 things from my to-do list done. There are also other things that I need to add to that to-do list that I have on post-it notes here and there, but also I'm sure things will come up as I'm cleaning and doing things. I'll find projects that need doing. For my weight loss goal, I want to keep up with movement and trying to move my body every day. As I have in the past, I'll probably be walking my mom's dog at least on the weekdays, so that gives me a nice long walk multiple times a day. I would really love to add something more to this. Perhaps now that we're in the middle of February, the gyms have quieted down a little bit with people giving up on their New Year's resolutions because they haven't figured out how to break down their goals into little manageable pieces and they've become overwhelmed and have given up. Not like us. So maybe I'll venture out into the gym and take a class or something like that, which I really like. I don't know exactly what the weather is going to be this week. So depending on what the weather is like, maybe I'll do something outdoors. I don't know, but I'd like to get more exercise, more movement into my days. I would also like to refocus on the healthier eating. I've kind of fallen off a little bit on that this past week. I do want to refocus on that. And again, this is why I really love those goals being then broken down into weekly things. It's just because this past week I wasn't doing great on the eating. Does not mean that this week I can't just get a reset and start fresh and regroup and start again. So yes, I would like to get back to eating a bit healthier. adding more protein, more vegetables and fruit into my diet, and cutting out the fast food or the fried snacks. So that's my plan for keeping up with my weight loss. Like I mentioned, I'm still waiting for one piece of paper to come in the mail so I can get my taxes done. So that's a little bit out of my hands. And then for the weekly cleaning, I would like to be able to get everything done that I plan, but you never know. I think if I were to track this by doing percentages, I would like to get an average of 90% for all 4 weeks. I mean, ideally, I'd like to get an average of 90% each week. But in the end, I think to fill in that my goal is completed, I would like to get an average of 90%. So that's my plan for week 2. I'm using a lot of the strategies from January to continue working towards the goals here in February. And this will help me stay focused and stay on task and get things done. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in a couple of days.